The Miami Dolphins wrapped up Week 2 of the preseason in style, taking down the Detroit Lions 24-17. And let's be honest, this game gave fans plenty to talk about. From breakout performances to unexpected surprises, the Dolphins' roster battles are heating up fast. Before diving into the winners and standouts from this matchup, a quick reminder. If you're a true Dolphins fan, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and hit that bell icon so you never miss the latest Miami news. Now, let's get into it. The first major standout has to be undrafted wide receiver Theo Weise Jr. from Otis to minicamp. He's been steadily making his case, but Saturday's performance may have turned heads for good. 6 catches, 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's the type of production you simply can't ignore. He's quickly becoming a go-to target for rookie quarterback Quinn Ewers, using his 6'2" frame and ability to separate across the middle to carve up defenses. Right now, he's pushing hard for that final wide receiver spot on the 53-man roster, and the competition between him and Taj Washington is shaping up to be one of the toughest decisions Miami's coaches will have to make. Another name that deserves recognition is rookie defensive lineman Phillips out of Maryland. He's been flat-out disruptive all preseason long. Last week, he had one of those unforgettable plays, shedding a double team at the goal line and stuffing the run to save a touchdown. Against Detroit, he built on that momentum, constantly causing problems for the offensive line and plugging gaps with authority. For a young defender, he's already showing flashes of a player who can make an immediate impact. Defensive lineman Phillips is quickly proving why Miami took a chance on him in the 5th round. Against Detroit, he racked up 4 total tackles, a tackle for loss, and 1.5 sacks. The kind of production that makes coaches sit up and take notice. At this point, he's locked himself in as the 4th defensive lineman in the rotation, right behind Zach Sealer, Benito Jones, and Kenneth Grant. Whether Miami decides to keep 4 or 5 at the position, Phillips is making it impossible to overlook him. If his preseason performance is any sign of what's ahead, Dolphins fans might be watching the early rise of a future star in the trenches. The next big winner has to be Dwayne Escridge. Once overlooked, he's become one of the most reliable weapons in Miami's offense this offseason. Claimed after being waived by Seattle, the Dolphins gave him another chance, and he's rewarding them in a big way. Against Detroit, he had 3 catches for 53 yards and a touchdown, all coming on a single drive. One of those plays nearly went the distance, as Escridge took a screen pass and bolted 30-plus yards before being dragged down just short of the end zone. What makes him stand out isn't just his explosiveness with the ball, but also his ability to contribute on special teams. Yes, he had a fumble in this game, but Miami recovered, and that doesn't erase how dynamic he's been. From training camp to joint practices, Escridge has consistently shown he belongs. At this point, there's no question. He's locked in as Miami's 5th wide receiver on the 53-man roster. And that's not all. There are still more winners to highlight from this preseason showdown. Grayson Murphy continues to be one of the biggest surprises of the Dolphins preseason. The second-year edge rusher out of UCLA is making the most of every chance he gets. With Mo Kamar sidelined by injury and Quinton Bell struggling to find the field, Murphy has stepped right into the spotlight and refused to let go. Last week, he delivered a sack, multiple pressures, and a pair of quarterback hits. Against Detroit, he raised the bar again, adding another sack, a tackle for loss, 3 total tackles, and 4 quarterback hits. Every time he's on the field, he seems to create chaos in the backfield. At this point, it's hard to imagine the Dolphins finalizing their 53-man roster without him. Murphy's arrow is pointing straight up, and he's pushing himself from long shot to roster lock with each passing game. Another big winner is rookie quarterback Quinn Ewers. Just a week ago, his preseason debut against Chicago was a disaster. Inaccurate passes, sloppy execution, and a night to forget. But this week, he looked like a completely different player. Confident, poised, and in command. Ewers rebounded in a way that should give Dolphins fans plenty of optimism. Sure, there are still rough edges to his game, His throws to the sideline continue to be an issue, whether that's mechanical or footwork related. But in every other area, he showed sharp decision-making, timing, and touch. For a seventh-round pick, the bounce-back performance was exactly what Miami needed to see. Instead of looking overwhelmed, he looked like someone who's starting to figure it out. Quinn Ewers wasn't just better. He was sharp. Over the middle of the field, his accuracy stood out, and Miami's offense looked energized with him under center. On play action, Mike McDaniel dialed up looks that allowed Ewers to find receivers in stride, and the rookie executed with confidence. One standout play came when he rolled left and delivered a laser to Terry Black on the move. The pass was tipped at the last moment by a defender, but the throw itself was perfect. Even more impressive was his developing chemistry with Theo Weise Jr. on one play. Ewers rolled left, spotted Weise, and fired a ball slightly behind him. Weise adjusted instantly, stopped on a dime, let the defender overrun the route, and made the grab. That type of connection between a young quarterback and wideout is exactly what you want to see in preseason. A glimpse of something that can grow into a real weapon down the line. But as encouraging as the winners were, not everyone is trending upward. It's time to look at the other side, the players who struggled in Miami's second preseason game. The first name on that list is Jalen Wright. For the second straight week, the young running back failed to impress. Coming off a promising rookie year, expectations were high, but Wright hasn't shown the same burst or vision this preseason. The biggest red flag came when he put the ball on the ground in the red zone, a fumble that could have been costly if not recovered by Tanner Connor. Ball security issues and scoring range are the fastest way to lose a coaching staff's trust, and right now, Wright's stock is sliding at the wrong time. The numbers don't lie. Jalen Wright's preseason has been rough. Last week, he carried the ball 9 times for just 16 yards. Yes, he found the end zone, but the efficiency was nowhere to be found. Against Detroit, things got even worse. 4 carries, 3 yards. That simply won't cut it for a player expected to lock down the RB2 spot behind the starter. When you see struggles 2 weeks in a row, it's no longer just a bad game. It becomes a trend. And right now, Wright is trending in the wrong direction. Unless he makes a drastic turnaround, it's hard to picture him holding that RB2 role once the regular season begins. On the flip side, Ollie Garden is making a real push. After an impressive debut against Chicago, he followed it up with another solid performance versus Detroit, finishing with 10 carries for 50 yards. His highlight came on a 19-yard burst up the middle, where he exploded through the line like he was shot out of a cannon and then lowered the boom on a safety at the end of the run. It was one of the biggest plays of the night, and a statement that he's ready to compete. With Wright slipping and Garden rising, the RB2 battle feels wide open. Add in Devin Akane and Mike Boone battling for the RB4 spot, and this backfield is anything but settled. If the trend continues, Garden may very well leapfrog right on the depth chart before week 1. The second preseason loser, though, comes from another position group, tight end Pharaoh Brown. Tight end Pharaoh Brown continues to trend in the wrong direction. After an underwhelming preseason opener, he once again failed to make an impact against Detroit. No receptions, no targets, and an early penalty that stalled momentum. For a veteran trying to secure a roster spot, that's the kind of performance you simply can't afford. With Miami likely keeping only 3 tight ends, the depth chart is shaping up around Tanner Connor, Darren Waller, and Julian Hill. That leaves Brown squarely on the bubble. And right now, his case isn't strong enough to stick. Even head coach Mike McDaniel lands on the losers list this week. While he drew up some creative looks that helped Quinn Ewers shine, Miami also committed multiple pre-snap penalties, illegal formations, and illegal shifts that stalled drives. Some of that comes from working with second and third team units, but these mistakes have been a recurring issue. McDaniel is one of the brightest offensive minds in the league, but as the regular season gets closer, discipline has to improve. A.J. Henning did manage to bounce back with a solid grab later in the game, snatching a dart between 2 defenders and moving the chains. His speed and explosiveness on special teams are intriguing, but nothing that punt overshadows the positives. He's unlikely to crack the 53-man roster, though a practice squad spot could still be in play if Miami wants to keep developing him. The final name on the losers list is Ethan Bonner, and this one comes down to circumstance more than performance. Bonner left the game in the first half with a lower body injury and never returned. For a cornerback already fighting on the fringe of the roster, every rep matters. If he misses multiple weeks, it will be hard for the Dolphins to justify keeping him over other depth options like Shamar Stephen, Kader Kohu, or Jason Marshall Jr. Injuries are always tough, and you never want to see a player lose an opportunity this way. But it puts Bonner in a difficult position as final cuts approach. And that wraps up Miami's preseason Week 2 winners and losers. From emerging playmakers like Theo Weise Jr. and Grayson Murphy, to concerning trends from Jalen Wright and Pharaoh Brown, this game gave the Dolphins plenty to evaluate as roster decisions get closer. The regular season is right around the corner, and if preseason has shown us anything, it's that Miami's young depth pieces are going to make this one of the toughest cut-down periods in recent memory.